You hungry? Should get to Germany today. I think it's only like 13 miles to the ferry. And there's a campsite right by it. So I'm going to camp there so that I can cross super early in the morning and then walk all day in Germany. So I think there's a place I might be able to camp. It's like 25 miles down the road. So, all right, buddy, you ready? Let's roll. I haven't put my socks back on because I only have one dry pair left. And I still have to cross that swamp. I know this isn't still like actual camping. I didn't walk really far into the woods for multiple days and then go camping. But even because I walked like 2 miles into the woods, even on tracks like it is, it's giving me that like camping morning waking up vibe more than I normally get when I've just camped in a shelter that's really easily accessed from the road. It's making me miss it. So I'm gonna have to do some actual camping when I get back. Ready? Jack doesn't like walking in water either, I've found. I feel like there should be a walk path here, like one of those little bridges that is built over bad portions, because I can't imagine this is ever not flooded. Luckily, it's not deep enough to go into my cart. I just feel like it's really fortunate. We're probably about 2 inches away from that. That would have really sucked. There's your wheelchair accessibility. I think 45 degrees is a little extreme to be considered accessible. Frosted tips, baby. Jack seems, as a general rule, healthy. I think I'm going to take him to the next vet that I have the opportunity to. He seems to get a little more tired, a little more easily lately, and his squinty eye syndrome has come back. So, I've been giving him a lot more rides lately. It's usually only for like a mile at a time, and then he'll get bored of it. Well, I mean, I don't think he's on the edges of danger or anything. Just want to get him checked out. A lot of times in America, I would arrive at small towns, and the old portions of the downtown would look kind of forgotten. This is a rare example of one that has that vibe in the European nations I've visited so far. Maybe it's just the fact that it's Sunday, but a lot of the storefronts were empty. Just feels a little bit forgotten. I just had kind of a strange experience in the grocery store right here. I was picking out some ice cream, which I think will be a real highlight of my day. But this old Danish woman kept like looking at me and smiling. I was like, do you need something? She didn't speak in English, but she kept pointing at the at the eggs and saying, egg, egg, and then smiling. I was like, yep. Do you need help? It took a while, but eventually I was like, do you want me to grab you some? She's like, yeah. And I grabbed her some, and she was very gracious and happy, and I was like, all right, good. I'm glad we got that figured out. The weird part is not what happened. The weird part is that one might have been the highlight of my day. Which makes me think I might need to do some reevaluating about how I live my life. But we all have moments where we think like that, right? Where we should toss out the whole baby with the bathwater kind of sensation. And I'm not sure that's prudent. We're pretty close to the harbor where there will be a ferry. I need to figure out how to pay for a ticket. I think I also need to reserve the shelter. It's kind of silly. They have these shelters and it says 40 kronas per person per night, but the minimum number of people it'll let you put in is 2, so 80, which is more like $12 instead of 6. But it's really still not that crazy of an expense. Now that I've temporarily satiated my, I was going to say insatiable, so that was an oxymoron. Appetite for sugar. There's about 3.5 miles left to the shelter. Should be an early day. So it should be an early day. I also think there's one of those pathways that, it's a bicycle path that goes through the fields. I really like those. So we're gonna take that. It's taking me all the way back to like 3 weeks ago when I was taking those a lot in Sweden. And now I'm all kinds of nostalgic about them. Yay! Yay, found it. Look at that flagpole tail, right up like a cat. We have to go down into the woods again. Unfortunately, that means we have to take this staircase. I wonder where the shelter is. Oh, that's helpful. Here's home, right here or right here. I can't remember which one I booked, but technically I should pick the one I booked. Not much of a view, to be honest. But that's alright. That's alright. Sad moment for me. This is the shelter I booked, which is perfectly fine. Except I always put my tent up inside the shelter because I hate bugs, and they do fly on my face, especially when you're right next to a lake. So this shelter is a real booger because it's too short for my tent to fit up in it. And they specifically said on the site that you cannot put up tents like adjacent to the shelter here, which is stupid. Yeah, it just does not fit at all. So this is cool. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of that before, my voice scared it away, but the one night I'm not gonna be able to set up my tent, I noticed a rat. Awesome. I guess Jack can eat it. All right, well, we're about to run out of light. I thought I was gonna try to do it with no tent because I just really can't get it to fit, but bugs are just unacceptable. So I'm gonna figure out a way to have the tent netting cover us, even if like the poles aren't fully set up or something. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. Can't handle these bugs. Well, I hope that doesn't last very long. Well, we're hoping to get an early start in Germany. Good news. According to the weather forecast, it's gonna be sunny all day long. Isn't that amazing? Jack has still got his squinty eyes, so I'm gonna take him to the vet today if I can. We're all packed up. As far as I know, the boat, Ferry, runs every half hour or 45 minutes or so. So no matter what time we get there, it shouldn't be too terribly long of a wait before we're sailing across the ocean blue, or rather the small strait. Would that be the right word? Strait between two peninsulas, or actually one peninsula and an island. Are you ready, buddy? You ready? Let's go. The weather forecast does say that it's going to be sunny all day. So we're very excited about that news. Aren't we, Jack? We're excited, right? Yes, it is. There's the boat. This is exactly what I feared would happen. For some reason, you can't get through here as a passenger. Go all the way back around. Mildly annoying. Alright, they added 1.5 miles. Just one simple gate. I could not find one of these upon entering Denmark from Sweden, so I'll just have to count that selfie I took as my marker. Fingers crossed I can find one upon entering Deutschland. It surprises me. Obviously, to get on the boat, you used to have to take COVID-19 tests, but it's built into like a very permanent looking sign. Admittedly, they put tape on it at one point, but it was falling off. I'm surprised by how poorly maintained the entrance to this ramp or to this place is. The sidewalks getting here, this example is not so bad, but the sidewalks earlier were unwalkable because they were so overgrown. There's quite a bit of trash, and then there's like stuff like that COVID-19 sign. That hasn't been relevant in quite a while. Surprising lack of maintenance for a country so well developed as Denmark. Next departure, 10:45. Cool. Boat is that way. If I had to guess, no elevator. Oh, looks like that's their elevator, but I'm probably gonna have to do it the hard way. Gotta get the essentials on a boat. Nice. When we got on the boat, it was just us. Like there's 4 pedestrians, so the boat was empty. So we were just wandering around. I should have picked a table at that point because 99% of the traffic comes from people in vehicles, apparently. And then they come upstairs, and it just gets super packed. Each of those ladies came over and just like slid a €5 note on the table and wanted to give me like a big smile. One of them said, "For the dog." People are cute. Welcome to Deutschland. Shout out to the people of Lübeck who live in the destination city for my last walk. I don't think that's pronounced the same, but it is a German city. It looks like it's pronounced the same. 2 big goals today. There were 3. Enter Germany. Done. Find a vet. Pending. Find somewhere to sleep. Also pending. I found a place that said that they're open to travelers, like people on long distance journeys, either on bike or on foot, except they are over 25 miles away. That, starting at noon, is basically a death march for me with a dog. I mean, we'd just get there super late, be super tired, Jack would be so sleepy, I'd feel like a bad dog dad. So I don't see that working. I'm gonna try to really leverage like people skills. I'm gonna try to develop some. So I just need to talk to people, ask them if they know of anywhere I might be able to sleep for free. Anybody who might be willing to let me pitch a tent on their property for free. I just want to, 1, meet more people, hopefully by doing that. 2, spend less money. So let's see what we can what we can make happen. All right, now we've got like, I don't know, 200 miles of Germany maybe. Being in Germany means we're also back on the euro, so all my Norwegian crowns, all 7 of them, are useless. Kind of okay, because that's about $1. The last time we saw the euro was in Finland. Each of Norway, Sweden, and Denmark used a different type of currency, all called crowns. They usually pronounce krona or krona or something like that in their language. This is a town called Puttgarden. Like they have camping, but I'm not quite ready to go camping yet. Let's see what else they got. So Puttgarden is actually quite small, aside from this recycling center. All they really had was a collection of houses. I saw like 1 food truck that looked like it was closed. So I'm not sure what it is. Doesn't have a grocery store or anything, but there is a road out of town, so we'll be taking that. Beautiful countryside. There's also a bicycle path leading out of town. Let's see, it leads to places. Not sure how long it'll continue, but we'll take it while we got it, because it's preferable to walking on the road, as you can imagine. This is one of the most beautiful days I've experienced in a long time, though. Seems like at least yesterday. I mean, look at that. Would ya? Would ya? The most common words I hear right here aren't Danish or German, although I did hear one Dankeschön, Danke, and no means thank you in German. The most common words I hear, usually when they're about 50 feet away, are walking Norway to Spain, in whatever accent. It's always funny, but I've heard that exact 3-word set thousands of times now. It's always, once they think they're far enough away that they don't have to talk. I just realized I'm still on an island. I think this one's called Femern, so not on the European mainland technically quite yet. This is what the bus stops have looked like so far in Germany. The only word I can think of them that seems to describe them accurately is dodgy, which I think is a British term. And this one smells like a pool, like chlorine. It's wet somehow on a sunny day. Still don't see very many abandoned buildings in Europe, at least not yet. They were quite common in the US. This one looks really old. And obviously with the blown out glass in the door, you can tell it's not in great shape. Looks like it might be receiving some renovation work though. I don't think I ever saw wheat growing that I can recollect up to now, so it's good to see some amber waves of grain again. I'm sure this island has lots of worthwhile history to learn about. For example, I did a quick Wikipedia search and found out that Jimi Hendrix performed his final ever concert in his life here on this island. So there's lots of cool stuff to learn about, but all I'll remember is how busy this bike path has been all day. We'll usually pass a few cyclists, and then I just have to rein Jack in, and we'll pull over to the side so they can pass without Jack curiously going up to them and making them brake, which is a habit of his. But I think today we've passed over 200 bicyclists. Hold on. We are in by far the largest town on the island, called Berg. Every other smattering of buildings just seems like a little neighborhood, a collection of houses, people living out in the farms. This is the only one that seems to have town things, stores, restaurants. This place is hopping. I'm simultaneously quite a bit more worried than I'm letting on about the prospects of finding somewhere to sleep. Pretty much from here on out. I'm spending a lot of mental energy thinking about it for the last few hours. I've been looking at a lot of websites, trying to read forums about how people bike across Germany, how people do anything across Germany, from there on the Netherlands and then everywhere. And I've heard varying reports about how it's actually not that hard to wild camp, and while yes, it is technically illegal, it's probably like it was when I walked across the US. I wasn't supposed to be camping in 95% of the places I camped, but as long as you're hidden, and somebody has to kind of care in order for them to get police involved, and they have to think you're like having malicious intent in order to really make a big deal out of it. So that's what I've been hearing, but I'm also simultaneously sort of excited for the adventure of it. Like, I didn't want to come to Europe just to, like, imagine the dream scenario for someone of my ambitions. Every 20 miles, there's a designated spot that says, please camp here, and there's people saying, yes, you may camp here, and they're very happy to have you, and it's just perfect. So every 20 miles, it's just perfectly like that. And then in between, there's just these great bicycle paths every 20 miles. And I just walk 20 miles a day, and then I go home, and I've walked across Europe. Would that actually be ideal, or would that kind of suck? The whole reason I did the first walk, and the whole reason I'm doing this walk, is to sort of like have to live. I don't want to be on autopilot. Why I came out here. Rock wall, rock wall, rock wall. Nothing to see here. Extremely good news. There's still a bike path, and it's not flooded with 400 people. I like people. It was just so frequent. That little circle thing right there, right behind the tree. That's the bridge we're gonna cross to get off this island. As we left the main road, which didn't have a path near it to the bridge, we've had to go through these country roads, which are pretty. Anyway, this is exactly the kind of stuff I would talk about if you were on a bike or in a car or anything faster than walking. You probably would have missed that staircase hidden in shadows. And it leads up to like this field in the middle of the bushes. I think it's private property because there's kind of equipment in there and stuff, but it's cool. I imagine that used to be a fence or a staircase, maybe to a house. Jack has something he'd like to say. What? You sure seemed eager to talk a minute ago. Nothing? I'm sure this is not what this means, but I'm reading this as like, want to look like the Fuhrer? Get your wearables here. Fuhrer wear. At least they have a picnic table though. Made it to the beach. Beach. Next stop, bridge. 14.35 miles in so far today. There's the beginning of the path over the bridge. These signs don't look super promising. I haven't translated them yet though, so let's see what they say. It says that it's closed. That is a bummer. It says there's a shuttle service, but that it can't transport bicycle trailers, which I think that might qualify as. So let's see where to access the shuttle and if they'll let me do this, and if not, I don't know. Problem solving. So I'm not sure if I'm getting this right because I can't find any information about it online. Sorry if I'm in a depressed mood. I've already been worried, as I mentioned, about not having a place to sleep. And anyway, so let me continue on with what I was saying. It looks like the trailer transport shuttle is supposed to pick you up from a bus stop on this portion of the or on this side of the bridge and then take you to the other side of the bridge. The bus stop route is from back in the town where I left an hour ago, maybe a little more, and the last one they have, I think, is supposed to leave in half an hour. I can't get back there that soon, so that sucks. Okay, I think I read it wrong. I think it wasn't 7:15 or 7:45 that the last bus was. It's 9:45. They always use what I would call military time over here, the 24-hour clock, and it's simple math, but it always throws me. I used to be good at math. Not to brag, but I am gonna brag. I got a 34 in math on my ACT, which is an American test for high school students to get ready to go to college. Application test, that's what it is. Yeah, 34 in math. Got a 36 in science, which is a perfect score. But you know what that doesn't help me do is get across this bridge. It's closed. The bridge is 1 kilometer long, very nearly 963 meters according to Wikipedia. So it's not like I can just dart across it real quick while nobody's looking. And I also can't feign innocence or have real innocence about the fact that I didn't know. Like the one bridge I took to cross from the mainland of Texas to Galveston. I was nearly to the other side of that particular bridge when the police stopped me and told me I was not legally allowed to do that. But they let me finish since I was so close. I am sort of just taking a quick peek up there just to see what the conditions look like, but I don't know. I've never been one that enjoys getting into trouble. I've got this real strong aversion to it. I always was kind of a good boy, you know. Probably to excess. Yeah, it's definitely closed. Back down the hill. I'm gonna try to figure out if there's anyone that lives around here that can help me or something. So much for my earlier speech about challenging circumstances. Making the man. Really, I am not the man. I find this ironic. There's a cycle path that goes almost 1,000 kilometers. It takes you to see the spread of Christianity or something. It says, set out with heart and soul, but don't you dare sleep anywhere, because that's illegal, unless you want to pay for it. I'm in a bit of a sour mood. Still figuring out my game plan. Looking at it from here, the bridge actually doesn't look that long. That ramp I took to get up to it was just as long, if not longer. If I didn't have the cart or the dog, I probably would have gone for it. But I have a cart and a dog. Let's do the math. So I can't, clearly. I can't decide if I should go to the shuttle and see if they'll take me, and then struggle to find somewhere to sleep on the other side, or if I should struggle to find somewhere to sleep on this side, and then see if the shuttle will take me tomorrow. Both sound like bad options. Helicopter. There's a sign here that does say that the lane is down. I don't know if I saw one on the others. On the other side, if I do, I didn't see it, but I'm gonna give myself a pass. I probably would have been like, oh cool, it's talking about how there's a pedestrian and a bike lane up ahead. I just don't have time to translate everything on the off chance that it might be helpful. Probably learn German. Quick update. I met a man on the road and I asked him if he knew where the shuttle was supposed to pick me up. He gave me directions. And then I walked like halfway there and I was trying to figure out where I was gonna sleep, so I was looking at my phone. And he came back. He was walking his dog. And he's like, oh yeah, dude, it's a little bit further away. I was like, oh yeah, just trying to find somewhere to sleep. And then he was like, oh yeah, come with me. So now I'm in his house. This is where I'll be sleeping. They're washing my clothes for me. Their names are Tina and Frank. Frank's the man I met. Tina's his wife. They got Jack some water. They got me some drinking stuff, water and soda. They said I can take a shower. And he came out with clean clothes. He's like, for when you sleep? I was like, oh, I still have a little clean clothes, but super nice guy. The language barrier is pretty steep, but they know some English. Like, there's a lot of hand gesturing. There's a lot of saying words multiple times with like indications. We can get something across, which makes it even more amazing that they're so generous immediately. They asked if Jack had dog food, and I said, yep, he has dog food. He already ate. And they're like, okay, for tomorrow, he can have this. I'm saying it like they say it in English, but they gave him a bone, which he is extremely enthusiastic about. They have a little dog named Anna. And then, for example, the language barrier. She was like, this, like it was indicating that here bugs can't get in, even if the window's open, because there's this bug net. Here, same, but here there's no bug net, so don't open it if you don't want. So we make it work. Great view that I can't demonstrate. Feels really good to be clean. I don't know why I'm being so quiet, but I don't know if there's sleep downstairs or not already. What do you think? Pro tip, whenever you have a chance, you're walking across the world, Always charge up all your stuff. Laptop, headphones, camera batteries, power banks, more camera batteries, everything. You just want to book up everything. This is exactly the kind of stuff I was talking about, though, with sort of what I was excited about. For me personally, I feel like I only get these kind of experiences when I'm sort of obligated to. If there had been a free shelter, there had been a cheap campground or a cheap shelter, or if there was a right to roam rule, I never would have like felt comfortable asking him if I could sleep in his yard, which I did, and which I was expecting to. Till we got here, he went inside and talked to his wife Tina, and then they're like, come in, come in, come in. And then they showed me my room. Actually, my floor. I have the whole floor. So that's why I was kind of excited. That's enough for tonight. See you tomorrow.